This is episode number 9, noun phrases. So we've looked very carefully at nouns, how to identify them and their different types. So now we're ready to move on to the noun phrase. Nouns have what we call the noun phrase, just as verbs have verb phrases, adjectives have adjective phrases, adverbs have adverb phrases, and prepositions have prepositional phrases. So a noun phrase consists of one or more words that are grammatically connected with a noun at its head. But I think the best way to understand this is just by looking at some noun phrases. So let's do that. 1. The very old shoe. 2. 20 hats. 3. Mobile phone. 4. My thick textbook. And 5. A book of magic. Now here are 5 noun phrases, and now we'll just go through them one at a time so we can understand what makes them noun phrases. So in the first noun phrase, the very old shoe, shoe is the head word. And the other words are pointing towards this head word. It gives us information about the head word. Which shoe? The shoe. The shoe that we had talked about earlier, the shoe that I'm pointing to, the shoe. What type of shoe? Well, a very old shoe. So shoe is the head of the phrase, and shoe is a noun. Just a side note here, very is not directly pointing to shoe, but rather to old, which is pointing to shoe. So it's still part of the whole noun phrase. Now shoe is a noun because, well, it takes an apostrophe S, such as the shoes hill, the very old shoes hill. It takes a plural, 2 shoes, 2 very old shoes. So the very old shoe is a noun phrase. We can apply this to the other noun phrases above. So let's go. 20 hats. 20 is telling us how many hats there are. They are grammatically related, and hats is a noun. Mobile phone. What type of phone? A mobile phone. Mobile is itself a noun, so that means a noun phrase can have 2 nouns where one noun is modifying the other. Cricket bat, washing basket, these are all examples of 2 nouns making one noun phrase. My thick textbook is a noun phrase very similar to my very old shoe. It has a determiner, my, an adjective, thick, and then the head noun, textbook. And they're all pointing to it. So in number 1, the is our determiner, old is our adjective, and very is describing old, or comes modifying old, I should say, and then the noun itself, shoe. So you can begin to see that there's patterns in the way that these things are coming together. Now our final example is the book of magic. And this is an interesting example because the modification comes after the head noun instead of before, as in the other examples. So we have 2 nouns here, book and magic. And even though magic is a noun and it's at the end of the phrase like all these other head nouns, it is actually not the head noun because magic is modifying book and the book is not modifying magic. What kind of magic is it? A book of magic? No. What kind of book is it? Well, it's a book of magic. So therefore we can recognize that the book is the head noun and magic is not. Now we know that it's not the head noun because it follows a preposition. So we can conclude from that that if the noun is following a preposition of, or other prepositions, but of, it is acting as the modifier. The man on the moon. In this situation, the moon is following on. And a jar of coffee. So coffee is following of. So these all have similar constructs. You'll see in the definition of a noun phrase that it says 1 or more nouns. This means that one noun by itself is a noun phrase that consists of a single noun. Linguists present the information in trees. I'm not going to sit and draw trees here, but I'm going to show you what a noun phrase might look like in a tree. We'll use the very old shoe as the example. So at the top of this part of the tree we have the noun phrase, that's what NP stands for. And then that noun phrase is divided into three, is divided into the determiner, which is the. It has an adjective phrase, and then it has the noun is shoe. Now the adjective phrase can be further divided into the adjective itself, which is old, and then that which is modifying the adjective, the adverb that modifies the adjective, which is very. So the whole tree looks like that. And that's what the linguists will do with all kinds of sentences and phrases. They break it down like that. So next time we're going to move on to pronouns and find out what they are. So even though they're not one of the big open word classes like verbs, which will be next after pronouns, it's a good time to visit them. So until then, thanks for watching the Language Code.